What's up, Knotfest? Daniel Dekay here, hanging at Aftershock 2022 with Brian Baker and Jay Bentley. Goddamn, Bad Religion in the house. What's going on, guys?
God damn it.
We're at the best festival in Northern California today that exists on Thursday, today.
In this exact place
in
right
this
now.
place right now, talking to our favorite journalists. And
use that term very loosely.
No, it's fine. It
Well,
still counts.
Also collectively.
Yeah.
For you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it couldn't be better.
Hell yeah. Speaking of where we're at this giant festival that covers so much genre ground, and you know, in a more kind of niche way, we see hardcore festivals like Sound and Fury booking death metal bands, and mainstream metal festivals are booking punk and hardcore bands. You guys talk to me about this like metal punk unity that we're seeing a lot now in these big festivals, and how that compares to, say, what we were seeing in the 80s and 90s with those scenes, you know, being very split.
Yeah, but they weren't split, and if you go back far enough and you see Megadeth and even Metallica with Sex Pistols stickers and Black Flag stickers on their guitars, punk rock in Los Angeles kind of got banned in the mid-80s, and the only way to get into the clubs was just to put a fucking guitar solo in your song and grow your hair out. So a lot of bands that just couldn't play because they were punk became speed metal.
Interesting.
It wasn't a crossover as much as it was just a progression of keeping busy.
But they in fact called it crossover because
Effectively.
you know, that was a nice marketing term. But yeah, and I think the reason it works too to have this kind of punk metal thing is that, I don't know if you've noticed, but in the last 20 years, metal lyrics are really have developed in this insane way. There's this entire global consciousness going on. It's no longer like partying. It's there's this headiness that's gotten to, especially the darker stuff when you read what they're singing about. And it's I think that's kind of that's why we're here. We're a lyric band that loves a catastrophe and loves a global lesson, and you see that all over the place here.
I think that you raise a good point that the bands, you know, the scenes were unified, but musically, I think that what I was more alluding to is like more the fans. You think like fans created a division, an idea that there was a division between the scenes?
I think in the beginning, you're right. I think, you know, you individualize yourself by the shirt that you're wearing. And if you're walking down the street in Hollywood in 1982 and you're wearing a Black Flag shirt and someone's coming up at you wearing a Motley Crue shirt, you're kind of going to give each other stink eye because fuck you and your scene.
Right.
But I remember this vividly. It was Motorhead was the sort of middle band where it was like everybody could agree that Motorhead kicked ass.
Right.
Yeah.
Punks, fucking long hairs, heshers, everybody, skaters, everybody. Motorhead was the thing, and they sort of brought everybody together. And then you would see guys with Motorhead shirts starting to show up at your show.
Yeah.
And you would go to a show of like a metal band wearing a Motorhead shirt because that was just a fucking thing.
Yeah, and then I bought a Motorhead shirt and I wore it.
See?
Yeah, because it was awesome. You know.
But I'm just saying, it was like there, you know.
Yeah.
It's like when that singular identity of wanting to identify with a genre of music is cool when it speaks to you, but as that morphs into a worldwide style, then it's all the same.
Yeah, tribal identity's kind of gone away. Back then it was like you were definitely of your people and this is how you know each other. Now it's so big that isn't necessary anymore. And I'd like to go back to the fact that Motorhead is the reason why we're at this festival.
It's probably
because
true.
that was the bridge.
It's probably
you
true.
said something incredibly important. I've never even thought about it that way.
I think it all goes back to that. It's just Hail Lemmy. Motorhead is the reason that a lot of the things we do today even exist.
It's
right?
so fucked up because I have an amazing Lemmy shirt and I had it and I was going to take it to this festival and then it was like white and I think it was dirty. And it would be so great if I was wearing the Lemmy shirt right now when this came. It would
Under that, just rip the buttons and just Lemmy.
Well, you know, obviously I didn't prepare. I left the fucking shirt in there.
We'll do it next time, Brian.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little more history. Jay, 40 years ago, How Could Hell Be Any Worse? This is like 40-year-old album now. How does that make you feel in
fucking
2022?
Old. No, you know what? It's unbelievably grateful that we've been able to do that for this long, and that a bunch of 15-year-old kids could make that album. So it's a snapshot in time. And we were just literally kids peeing our pants, writing songs in a garage, and just wanting to do something more than just scream. I remember that. We were talking about wanting to have something that would mean something next year, and the year after that, and the year after that. And you would write a song that wasn't just going to be dumb in 5 years.
It's crazy.
Whatever the hell that
Lasting
meant.
power.
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude. And you look at a festival like this, you're going to be playing tonight for 3-4 generations of like fans of this band, and I feel overwhelmed thinking about it, and I didn't make the fucking album or start the band, so that must be pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. It's like that's Brian's history and our history is that's why we're sort of in the same boat of like we got together because we were at school. It wasn't fucking great, and at the time, if you had short hair and you were into punk rock, you were probably one of 1,000. And you got in fights every day with people who just wanted to shove Rush 2112 in your fucking face and go like, dude, fuck you, punk rock.
Yeah.
Okay. So you would hide in a garage and write songs. And that's kind of what we did.
Yeah.
And we would just have nothing better to do than just like, look, let's just get the fuck out of the mall and go to Greg's house and write songs.
I think part of the longevity also was incredibly low aspirations. Like, you didn't really think long term in that sense. It was like, I remember, like, Minor Threat was my after school band in high school. And I would go to Lyle's mom's house and we would play music.
Yes.
And like, that was it. You weren't thinking about, the Golden Girls t-shirt rip-off, 48 years later. It's ridiculous. And I'm very grateful.
Yeah.
Kind of like
low aspirations.
I like that.
That's about it.
Just keep it low.
Keep the bar low. Be honest with yourself. Think about,
Yeah.
Don't put too much thought into it. Just be yourself, I guess.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I think you're talking about like being 15-year-old kids and like low aspirations and not realizing staying power. Look at something like the Crossbuster that I'm sure that in its time, that coming from a bunch of 15-year-old kids was probably insanely taboo and something that controversial, and by today's standards, pretty fucking tame. But there's a staying power about it. What do you think is like the secret to the longevity and maintaining its relevance in a very, very different society today?
Honestly, it was just easy to spray paint.
True.
It's easy to put on a wall. And when you're 15 and you do something like that, you pretty much think it's just going to piss off the people in your circle, right? It's really going to piss off your mom and dad, and wait till the school teachers see this.
Yeah.
But you don't think about it getting outside of your community until you start seeing it outside of your community.
Well,
and go,
the thing about it is that people know that logo and don't know the band. And I think that's fucking awesome. I mean, that's really, that's just a huge statement. And there's a couple bands like that where it kind of transcends everything. And like that Dumb Luck again, I mean, this is like Jerry Falwell's a criminal. And, there is no God, people.
See, I remember when Brett came up with it and said, look at this. And we all went, holy shit, that's rad.
Can we do this?
What did you think of it when the first time you saw it? Because I don't know what people outside of the band thought. We were in the band and went, oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, like obviously when I saw it, it was still like the 90s when I saw it. It was
right.
like it's not something I felt comfortable showing my parents.
Yeah.
It created a lot of discomfort in a household, and my family is pretty conservative.
And that's 15 years after we made it.
And that's to me, like, it's still like today, as you say, like people know the logo and don't know the band. Like, it's a symbol that represents so much and means so much to so many people. It's crazy how something can evolve without you even really meaning for it to, right?
I'll go back to what I said before. This is really easy to spray paint on a wall. And that was like rule A. Like, what's the most important thing? It has to be easy to spray paint on a wall.
Low aspirations and taking the easy way out.
Yeah, but then that happy accident part.
Love it.
Like Brian said, it all happens, but not necessarily for the reasons that you intended them to.
Yeah.
It just goes without you. It goes ahead of you. And you're like, all right.
We call that taking a life of its own, taking on a life of its own. It just, now it's out there running free.
Yeah, go have a good time.
Crossbuster. Some people having a problem with it right now in Salt Lake City, I'm sure, somewhere.
Don't care.
Don't love it.
Yeah, they don't love it.
Get fucked.
Yeah.
Age of Unreason, kind of the start of a new era in terms of some new faces on record and new producer and, you know, exploring some avenues you hadn't before. What's up next for the band? We're going to get another record. What do you guys got going on for us?
Well, there's cleaning up the mess of COVID still.
Cool.
That we have so many things we have to go, and we have so many obligations we have to fulfill. I mean, it's fucked. You know, that basically that hit on our 40th anniversary, and so we're still catching up. And then of course there's going to be a record made. It's because that's what we do. And the records come, whether COVID or not, they come once Brett and Greg have enough things that they want to talk about. And then we cut down to about 15 things they want to talk about and throw out the couple ones that are a little too weird, and we have a record. So this is just what we do. We're going to keep doing it.
Fucking love it. Guys, I can't wait for your set tonight so I can be 15 years old again and perhaps throw out my back, because that's what happens.
Yeah!
Hell yeah, I could do an hour with each of you on your own about your own careers and own lives. Let's do that sometimes.
Yep.
Until then, keep it real, guys. Pleasure.
Yeah, for real. Thank you.